Let's bring up Michael Slottick from Con Artist. Michael, let me lower this down there.
No, it's all right. So we realized that you guys programmed 2 films about 2 assholes, basically.
You know, well, I don't know how much his guy was really an asshole. But I gotta say now, I so much enjoyed watching this because I thought you just so captured Kostabi in so many ways. But I thought, you know, a comedy is we watch tragic things happen to other people, and if they make us laugh. And a tragedy is when they happen to us or the people we like. But what happens when we see somebody we don't like and we want more tragedy to happen to them? We want them to actually somehow die in the movie or get worse. I mean, I was hoping as I watched this, I want his empire to crumble more. I want it to go further down. I mean, did you have, who were you rooting for as you made this?
God, who am I rooting for? I don't know. I didn't come into it rooting for anybody, I think. You know, to me, it's just, he's just so filled with contradictions that, is this not on?
No, I'm just telling you to turn it up.
It just felt like he was so filled with contradictions, and I was so contradicted about him, and continue to be so contradicted about him in my feelings towards what he does, towards what fame is, towards what capitalism is about, towards what art is about, towards everything. And you know, to me, that's what was so amazing about him as a story and as a character, is that he just represented so many good things and so many bad things, but at the same time, he's kind of like a train wreck that you just can't take your eyes off.
How did you come across the story? I mean, how did you find it? He obviously gave you a ton of access for quite a while. So how did that happen?
I literally, I had never heard of him until my neighbor. I was literally one summer looking for whatever freelance work I could get, and my neighbor was one of his painters. The Italian kid that says he doesn't want to answer the question was my neighbor. And he was like, listen, this guy that I work for has this game show down in Soho that he does once a week, and come down there, he'd probably put you on a camera or something, pay you a few bucks. So I went down there on a Friday, and that's what he did. And you know, you walk into the place, and everybody who runs that show is all the painters and the assistants and stuff. He spends tons of money on the equipment, and none of them know how to use it. And I walked.
Wait, you're saying none of the painters know how to?
No, they don't know how to use it. It's like literally they have no clue like what they're doing. They just turn it on. And they
well, you mean on the TV show?
The TV show.
Oh, okay.
TV show. So basically, he put me on a camera, and for one summer I went down there once a week and shot on the TV show. And the more I got to know him and kind of understand his history and to see the people that were coming in and out of the place, the more I was realizing that it was just, he's an amazing character. You know, I always say that he's the kind of character that I would have wanted to have written. Because I work narrative features as well. Yeah. I make those as well. So he just, at a certain point, it was like, there's no avoiding this. He's such a great contradicted character that started working.
Let's go to some questions right back there, sir.
To me, the apex of the movie was, I saw an artist who had his ups and had his downs, had his ups and has his downs, and all of a sudden he gets commissioned to do a statue of the Pope, and the Pope is in attendance, which for any artist has to be just the pinnacle of their life. And at that point, you made a decision to juxtapose scenes of him crawling around on the floor in a really wacky thing. And frankly, I thought it was a little disingenuous. I never saw the moments with the Pope as the real pinnacle of his career, and I felt like it was a decision at that moment that really took away from him. And I wonder what was your thought process in making that editing decision?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think because it's a combination of things. On the one hand, I think Kostabi looked at it as a pinnacle of his career, but at the same time, when you hear him talking about the church and talking about the Pope as basically a giant PR machine, there is a level where is this really a pinnacle? Is this really meaningful for anyone? Some people may say that this is an important moment in his career. Some people may look at it as just another moment for him to get another picture opportunity, And I think what we were playing with was the notion of, what's real? How much of this is an act? How much of this is real? How much of it is meaningful? How much of it is bullshit? So we kind of played around with the notion of it. We could go with this and say, look at this, isn't this amazing? Got to this point, he meets the Pope, and everybody's happy at the end. But not everybody's really happy at the end, you know what I mean? Especially in this kind of story. So instead of kind of playing it out that way, we kind of played around with this notion of what if we mix in this interview that literally happened in Italy. It's a 3-hour grueling interview where I was trying to get him to a space where he would talk about really deep things about life, and all he would give me was this act, this crazy act where all of a sudden he's rolling around on the floor and talking about the Pope. And I mean, there's stuff, like you were saying, the stuff that your character says that you couldn't put in. There's stuff he says in that interview that I wasn't going to go anywhere near about the Pope, about the woman he's dating, about all kinds of things. So, you know, we just never saw it as that kind of film where we wanted it to be, you know, bad guy triumphs in the end, or whatever he is, if he is a bad guy. It was, you know, more a question of keeping to the reality of his, you know, kind of contradictory character, and the contradictory character of celebrity, fame, and the art world.